let's talk about your sexual energy, your libido, your juice, your jazz. Let's dive in, my friends. This video is on semen retention and the transmutation of sexual energy, a topic rarely discussed and shrouded in mystery. The idea of semen retention goes way back, right? You can look at warrior cults and warrior classes of people that, like, the Knights Templar, that would retain their sexual energy. They would retain their seed because they thought it would give them an edge in battle. All mystery schools, taught the way of sexual transmutation so that initiates could harness that sexual energy, that the most powerful creative force in the universe, right? And use it for spiritual evolution. Okay, there's many schools of thought around this, whether it's tantric, sexuality, tantric breathing, sexual yoga, So we can go deep into all that, but this video, my friends, is on my experience with learning the transmutation of sexual energy, some of the secrets about it, how harnessing and mastering your sexual energy leads you to self-mastery in life in general, right? And furthermore, how can we build the maturity and emotional maturity to be with that energy and actually learn to transmute that, whether we're into the world or with a lover. So, my friends, stay tuned, buckle in, share this video with someone you think it will impact. This is Reality Files. I'm Kristian, and if you want to talk to me one-on-one, I help people transition into soul-aligned sovereignty. And if you're called, for a chat, there's a link in the description for a free consult. Furthermore, there's a Breathwork free guide, link in the description for that as well, to talk, if you want to get into some of the sexual energy breathing practices. Let's do it. Semen, life force, libido, that charge. When you have it, when you're retaining your seed, right? And you're working that energy through your body into your life, you have something I call the jazz. You're potent. You have a spark in your eye, right? Like females smell you from a mile away. You just have a deeper presence in reality, a bigger ripple into reality. Your life force is more potent. It's actually what we all want. When we wake up and life is more fresh and we feel capable to do the things our deeper self wants, music sounds better, colors taste better. That means we're potent in our body, right? And when we leak that energy, it happens in very subtle ways, but you'll notice your potency go down, your capacity to respond to situations, right? Your attractiveness, your jazz, your dance in life plummets, right? Furthermore, in my experience, I've been holding my seed for, practicing sexual energy transmutation, semen retention for well over a year now, almost 2. And it was a rough and rocky road to begin with. I really didn't have the emotional maturity to be able to sit with that, right? But by warring against the forces of sexual energy, which can be immense, especially when they're charged up, by warring and going, essentially like learning to work with that, you gain maturity. In fact, you gain levels of self-mastery that can be found nowhere else. By mastering lust, by mastering base, desire, even the greatest fire of desire you can really feel. By mastering that, you can master overeating, overconsumption, toxic patterns and attachments, right? Reactivity. You can master addictions. Most addictions are actually sourced in misconduct of sexual energy misconduct. And, there's deep mystery hidden around there. But ultimately, my friends, when you leak your seed, afterward, me personally, I just kind of feel stupid. I feel tired. I feel drained, and it takes time to recultivate that jazz. So moving on to the next thing. So mastering sexual energy leads you to self-mastery. It is that worthy adversary that demands you grow in your maturity, in your steadfastness inside, right? Furthermore, if you're going into the sexual act, if you're going into an intimate setting, right? Mastering that energy is the difference between a boy and a man. A boy, in fact, all ejaculation to some extent is premature ejaculation. It's coming from a boyish side of you that's getting overexcited. That's maybe living in that fantasized world that you've put so much energy into while masturbating, right? That's boyish. A man owns his energy, owns his mind, and is emotionally present with the situation, with his woman, right? That is why learning to go there, learning to tap into that frequency, that depth, that kingship inside of you is really the path towards sexual energy mastery. And in that mastery, self-mastery, right? We're gonna get more into that at the end of this video. We're gonna get into the sexual act itself. Before we get there, we gotta talk about, basically the breath cycle practicing. And furthermore, learning the first step, the very first step is learning to harness that energy into life. Mark my words, most people are lazy and bored right now and are like fighting against the urge to go jerk off, okay? What you must do before you can learn to cycle and master that energy is in fact master that energy into life. We'll talk about that now. So again, the ancient warrior cults harnessed this energy because they thought it gave them an edge in battle, right? They thought it gave them that extra spark, that spark in the eye that you see in people, that very charismatic person that they're holding the seed. But what they're doing beyond holding the seed, my friends, and this is where no-fap goes wrong, okay? They're not repressing the energy. They're not sitting there fighting themselves, being bored and lazy, but in fact, they sit with that energy. They feel that energy. And then they rise to penetrate the world, the ma, right? The mother, the feminine. They rise to penetrate the world the same way they would rise to penetrate a woman. Have sex with life, my friends. This is where sexual energy transmutation starts. Let me give you an example. A good fighter is kind of lazy, doesn't really have, strong desire or aspiration into the world, and is sitting there and watching Netflix and fighting the urge to masturbate. And then he gets triggered and he loses that war, right? In another situation, that same fighter, right, feels that urge and then just masters himself for a few moments, a few breaths, and starts thinking about what he could what's his potential, right? He starts thinking about winning, the championship, the world championship in boxing, right? And as he starts thinking about that, he starts getting inspired. He starts getting excited. He starts getting aroused by that idea, right? And then he goes and takes action. He fucking sprints down the road starting to train, right? And it's invigorating. Okay, another example of this, how that process happens is with myself. If I'm bored, if I'm lazy, if I don't know what to do, I gotta ask myself, what does my deepest self actually want to do right now? What's a deeper instinct to create? What urge to create? What urge to greatness is innate, is, hidden inside of me right now? Can I find that and channel that with the same energy and enthusiasm as if I was doing a sexual act? Can you work on your dreams as if you're making love with the world? Because here's the thing, my friends. Just like the feminine in a relationship, the feminine in the world will test you. She will test how deep you are sourced in your masculine kingship. She will test you. Are you able to dance with the world? She will throw curveballs at you. She will throw success and failure, highs and lows, right? She will throw inspiration and admonishment at you, right? Can you work with all that, but ever be persistent in your constant depth and penetration into the world? Right? That is the mastery of sexual energy into life itself. Can you go and breathe your awareness into that center, right? And really create from there and dance with life again. That's how you charge more potency. That's how you master that energy in the sexual transmutation into life, okay? Secondly, sexual transmutation into spiritual development or self-mastery. This is the next phase, and this is learning to essentially work that energy, okay? You see, sexual energy is a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. The dangers of no-fap is when people go celibate, they repress that part of themselves and go to war with that part of themselves instead of give it an avenue to greater nobility, okay? Through the act of cycling and breathing, doing the microcosmic orbit, you can go follow Montauk Chia, go get the Breathwork guide, essentially breathing and cycling that energy, right? You can start getting acquainted with your sexual energy, And in that cycling process, what you begin to do is essentially like build greater awareness and learn the feeling of that energy, get to know it deeply. You know, there is a way to masturbate without, you know, spilling the cup of Hermes per se. And that is one of devotional love and working that energy through your body, okay? It's the same thing when you get into a practice with a woman in intimate setting. You must learn how to cycle that energy and stay deep and centered. The boy, when he gets with a woman, has these fantasies playing in his mind, gets overly excited, prematurely spills his seed, and furthermore, it doesn't satisfy the woman at a deep level. The woman, just like the world, is only satisfied, right, through her constant tests and how deep you're centered in yourself, in your masculinity. You see, sexual energy is like the training ground. It's the weight room for self-mastery, okay? Can we hold our presence deep and centered? Almost that Shiva awareness, that Shiva presence, that empty, superior, rooted, heart-centered masculine, right? Can we hold that and have emotional intelligence, emotional maturity when it comes to how we're feeling, how she's feeling? You know, it's not just like, you know, a penis and a yoni. It's an entire dance between two beings. That's how we must see sexual energy, is making love with the full world or making love with the full woman, okay? Not just like you and your fucking hand. Not just you and these thoughts that are exciting you in your mind and your fucking hand, okay? You need to learn how to love with that energy. You see, you can transmute, like the alchemist, the base lead into gold. That, on a sexual energy view, right? Lust is base lead, right? Try making love with a beautiful woman without lusting after that beautiful woman. It is quite the act. It is quite the balance you must find, right? You must learn to transmute that lust into the fullness of love. You must penetrate the woman or the world with love, not lust for your goal, but love for life. Hear me out. Not lust for your goal, but love for life. Not lust for an attachment or reaction to that attachment, but love for life itself, the highs and the lows. That is how you must learn to use and transmute sexual energy. The fighter, the warrior in combat, right, is centered so fucking deep. It's not about how he's feeling or these like base attachments and desires. It is about fully expressing life, fully surviving, fully thriving all in one. It is a fullest act of presence, right? It is the full use of that energy, cycling it through the body, self-generation. When we leak energy, my friends, when we leak sexual energy, you age quicker, your skin looks less healthy. The moment we drop that seed, your entire body, you basically start leaching life force from your entire body to immediately start generating more. It takes so much nutrients, so much, you know, iron in your blood, so much life force that you have held in certain centers of the body to make a few drops of semen, just a few. It takes an immense amount of energy to make a few. And when we leak that repeatedly, when you're younger, you can do it more often, right? But as you get older, the effects start to show. They start to show of how your body has been abused, right? How every part of your energy and organs have been enslaved by one organ, your genitals, right? You must break that slavery and learn to fully use and transmute that energy, lust into love, lead into gold. If you can do this with sexual energy, you can do this with any desire, any base instinct, because you did it with the hardest one. Again, sexual energy transmutation is literally the fucking weight room. Welcome. This is Reality Files, my friends. I hope you enjoyed that video. Please share this with someone you think it will impact, and hit that like button. You know, I also really appreciate all the comments. I read them every time. This video was inspired by a comment down there. I hope to make more like this. Thanks for being here, my friends. Thanks for rising in this fallen world. Thanks for being you. May the future hold blessings, self-mastery, self-realization, and a tribe like the tribes of old. Peace.